is environmental economics? But first, let us define what economics is. Economics is a study of how humans produce and consume goods and services. Environmental economics is a discipline of economics that studies the economic effects of environmental policies around the world. It is the study of the cost effective allocation, use, and protection of the world's natural resources. Environmental economics focuses on how they use and manage finite resources in a manner that serves the population while meeting concerns about environmental impact. The basic theory underpinning environmental economics is that environmental amenities or environmental goods have economic value and there are costs to economic growth that are not accounted for in more traditional models. Environmental goods include things like access to clean water, clean air, the survival of wildlife, and the general climate. Although it is hard to put a price tag on environmental goods, there may be a high cost when they are lost. Environmental economists see the environment as a form of natural capital that provides amenities and life support functions to the Earth's inhabitants. That's why they conduct cost benefit analysis of industrial activities or propose regulations involving natural resources and run sophisticated environmental modeling programs to develop cost effective and sustainable policy recommendations and communicate them to policymakers through reports and presentations. Environmental economists are concerned with identifying specific problems, but there can be many approaches to solving the same environmental issues. If a state is trying to impose a transition to clean energy, for example, they have several options. The government can impose a fixed limit on carbon emissions, or it can adopt more incentive based solutions like placing quantity based taxes on emissions or offering tax credits to companies that adopt renewable power sources. All of these strategies rely on state intervention in the market, but some governments prefer to use a light touch and others may be more assertive. The degree of acceptable state intervention is an important political factor in determining environmental economic policy. Environmental economics may produce two types of policies: prescriptive regulations and market based regulations. Prescriptive regulations, the government dictates specific measures to reduce environmental harm. For example, they may prohibit highly polluting industries or require certain emissions controlling technologies. And on the other hand, market based regulations use economic incentives to encourage desired behaviors. Example: cap and trade regulations do not prohibit companies from pollution, but they place a financial burden on those who do. These incentives reward companies for reducing their emissions without dictating the method they use to do so. Environmental economics date back to the 1960s, when industrialization was experiencing a boom, particularly in the Western world, and pollution from industrial activity became an increasing concern. Environmental activism also started to increase due to the perceived negative consequences of environmental degradation. The world became aware of rapid economic growth and its consequences to the environment.
The role of environmental economics in the design of environmental policies and their implementation is the major concern of the discipline. So there are three important questions arise in environmental economics. What causes environmental challenges in terms of economic and institutional affairs? So the first question explores the concept of market failure, which is premised on the fact that there are either non-existent or incomplete market for environmental goods, such as unpolluted air, clean environment, scenic nature views, etc. Hence, there is likely to be no efficient allocation of environmental resources. What is the monetary value of environmental degradation through pollution and other agents, as well as the value of developments in the prevention and eradication of environmental harm? The methods of measurement and estimation of the variables are an important aspect of environmental economics. Coal mining, earth transport, fossil power plant operation, and agricultural pesticide use are examples of activities where the new ISO standard can help to evaluate resulting environmental damage in monetary terms. How can economic incentives and environmental policies be effectively designed to improve environmental quality and deter environmental damage? Critical evaluation of economic incentives and environmental policies and regulation is crucial to find out if they are yielding the intended objective. What are the objectives of environmental economics? The main objective of environmental economics is to maintain a balance between economic development and environmental quality. In order to achieve it, environmental economists have to explore the various socio-economic possibilities to reduce pollution and uplift the standard of living of the people. Environmental economics encompasses the following concepts. The first one is sustainable development. Sustainable development is defined by UNEP as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The concept analyzes the role of economic development in supporting sustainable development. The four components of sustainable development are economic growth, environmental protection, social equity, and institutional capacity. The second one is market failure. Market failure happens when the quantities of the product demanded by the consumers is not equal to the quantity of the supplied by suppliers. This prevents equilibrium in the market. An example can be environmental goods such as clean oceans. It is difficult to price the value of clean seas and oceans, and there exists no market for clean water bodies where it is traded depending on the degree of cleanliness. It is a standard case of market failure.
Externalities, it is economic cost benefit that is byproduct of economic activity. It is allocated outside of market system. It also occurs in an economy when the production or consumption of a specific good or service impacts a third party that is not directly related to the production or consumption of that good or service. There are two types of externalities, the negative externality and the positive externality. Negative externality refers to the external cost imposed on a third party without their consent, causing a negative outcome. This cost can be monetary loss, increased spending, or impacting the health and well-being of the third party externalities, such as global warming, can cause negative externality and impact various aspects. Negative externalities, a part of production and consumption processes, can be cause economic efficiencies and market failure if not managed effectively. Negative externality of consumption and production occur when the consumption and production of a good service create costs that are not borne by the consumer and the producer but by other in society. For example, secondhand smoke from public places originating from smokers can cause health issues for non-smokers, as the harm is borne by those nearby. And the negative externalities in production include pollution from factories causing harm to residents, wildlife, and the environment, and not being fully borne by the factory owner, leading to more costs than benefits. Government intervention in addressing negative externalities of production and consumption often involves regulation, taxes, and subsidies. These policies aim to internalize external costs, ensuring producers and consumers bear the full cost of their activities. This leads more to efficient resources allocation and reduced societal impact. Positive externality can be internal benefit, spillover benefits, and a benefit of an activity received by people other than those who pursued the activity. For example, when you consume education, you get a private benefit, but there are also benefits to the rest of society. You are able to educate other people, and therefore, they benefit as a result of your education. This is an example of positive consumption externality. While positive production externality, when a farmer who grows apple trees provide a benefit to a beekeeper, the beekeeper gets a good source of nectar to help more honey. With these positive externalities, the benefit to society is greater than your personal benefit. Therefore, with a positive externality, the social benefit greater than
Economic
private
valuation
benefit.
is crucial in environmental economics, helping manage challenges with natural resources. It's complex to assign value to intangible benefit and resources with multiple benefits. Valuation depend on use and non-method, with use method using opportunity cost pricing, replacement, cost and hedonic pricing techniques, and non-use method using contingent valuation techniques. Cost-benefit analysis is a systematic process used by businesses to determine which decision to make or forgo, combining potential rewards and costs and may also include intangible factors. There are many processes to consider to conduct cost-benefit analysis. First is identify project scope. It involves understanding the situation, identifying goals, and creating framework to determine the scope of the project, such as expanding to increase market share. The project planning stage involves assessing a company capabilities, including timeline, resources, and personnel. And the second one is to determine cost. It involves determining project cost, which may include direct, indirect, intangible opportunity, and potential risk. These costs include labor, inventory, raw materials, overhead management, and environmental impact. And the third one is to determine the benefits. It involves determining the financial benefits of a decision, including increased revenue, intangible benefit like improved employment safety, and competitive advantage. It's crucial for analysis to apply a conservative approach, avoiding subjective tendencies and monetary measurement. Identifying both explicit and implicit benefit can be challenging due to future assumption and lack of simple formula. The fourth one is to compute analysis calculation. The analysis of cost-benefit figures involves subtracting costs and determining the net benefit. Analysis may involve discount rates, multiple option, cost-benefit ratios, and sensitivity analysis to understand how slight changes estimated may impact outcomes. And the last one is make recommendation and implement. The cost-benefit analysis analyze present finding to management, summarizing cost, benefit, net impact, and supporting the analysis purposes. Positive result indicates more benefit than cost, but companies must consider limited resources and potential mutually inclusive decisions such as limited capital.